Today's video is on equivalent fractions. So our learning target today is I can write equivalent fractions. Please make sure you write down your date and your I know, which is something you know about equivalent fractions. Maybe you know what equivalent means, maybe you know what fractions means, but whatever you personally know. Then we have three vocabulary words. We have equivalent, which means the same or equal. We have numerator, which is the top number of a fraction. And we have denominator, which is the bottom number of a fraction. So please have all of this written down and then restart the video when you're ready to go. So hopefully at this point you pause the video and restart it. Before we took these notes and watched this video, you should have watched the weird number video, which was in this folder. This is a video that is about equivalent fractions. So in the video, there was a bad guy, and his name was 2/3. Throughout the video, he went by other things. So sometimes he went by 4/7. At the very end, he went by 18/27. And he could have gone by lots of different things. And so the purpose of this video was to show that every single fraction has an infinite number of equivalent fractions. So no matter what fraction we're looking at, there are a zillion fractions that are equivalent, which means the same as that specific fraction. So knowing this, we can do a lot of things with it. The first thing we can do with it is simplifying fractions. So let's say, for example, I had the fraction 12/18. If I want to simplify that fraction, the first thing I want to do is I want to divide the top and the bottom numbers, meaning both the numerator and the denominator, by the same number. This number needs to be a common factor. So I need to find a common factor for 12 and 18 that I can divide both of them by. So there's a couple different ones I could think of. I can think of, 3 goes into both, 2 goes into both, 6 goes into both. There's lots of things. Let's do 3. So if I divide both 12 and 18 by 3, 12 divided by 3 is 4. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So 12/18 is the same as, is equivalent to 4/6. Okay? Now I see that 4 and 6 still have common factors. There's numbers that go into both. So I see that I can divide both 4 and 6 by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And at this point, I don't have any more common factors. And so this is our rule. We stop simplifying when the numerator and the denominator are relatively prime. Or in other words, as we did in our last video, when they have no common factors except for the number 1. Once we do that, that means that we are in our simplest form. Okay? For another example, we could do 18/30. If I wanted to simplify this, I want to come up with a common factor so that I can multiply both 18 and 30 by. Again, there's a couple different options. I know 2 goes into both. I know 3 goes into both. I see that 6 goes into both. So I'm going to divide both of these numbers by 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. And 30 divided by 6 is 5. Once I have 3 and 5 are both prime numbers. That means they are relatively prime. Once both the numerator and the denominator, the top and the bottom, are relatively prime, that means that we are in simplest form. Okay? The other thing that we can do is we can tell if two fractions are equivalent to each other. So let's say I had the fraction 14/21, and I had the fraction 24/36. If I want to determine if they are equivalent or not, I need to simplify these and see if they are same when they are simplified. Okay, so starting with 14 over 21, simplifying that, I'm looking for numbers that go into both the top and the bottom for a common factor. A common factor for 14 and 21 is 7. They both can be divided by 7. 14 divided by 7 is 2. 21 divided by 7 is 3. Okay? I can do the same thing for 24 over 36. So I'll write 24 over 36 over here, and I want to simplify it. So I'm looking for a common factor for 24 and 36. Again, this is a case where there's several. One of them would be 6. I could pick a different one. I would just have to keep going until everything is simplified as far as it can be. 24 divided by 6 gives me 4. 36 divided by 6 gives me 6. 4 and 6, well, I see they still have a common factor. That common factor is 2. Divide by 2, top and bottom. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now the two numbers that I ended up with are 2/3 and 2/3. So because those two are the same, they are equivalent. Okay? Hopefully this helps you understand the video, The Weird Number. Please let me know if you have any questions at all.